Coming to you each and every week from the State Champs studios on the campus of Lawrence Technological University. This is another State Champs Sports Network production in the Yellow Flag Productions family. All of our programming presented by Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare. Champs Hangtime is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also brought to you in part by Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The U.S. Army, what's your warrior? The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, because better coaching always matters. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation, nominations being accepted now for Male and Female Athlete of the Year at DACAthleteoftheyear.com. Welcome to State Champs Hangtime, Michigan. I'm Lauren Plant here with the fellas each and every week. Scott Bernstein and TJ Kelly. The games have begun and it's already been a scorcher for some of the teams out of the gate. Are you feeling the heat, boys?
As hot as it's going to get.
Might as well be in Florida.
Yes, 400 degrees.
We've spent time out at showcases over the weekend. We've got highlights. We're going to talk about how some teams have started and what we expect out of them this year. I've also got Rochester Hills Stony Creek coach Steve Norgrove coming up a little bit later, and he's got some really important information you need to hear. That's coming up. We've got a 4-pack of games to get us going. These highlights brought to you by the U.S. Army. Find your future at GoArmy.com. We begin at North Farmington High School for the 11th annual Horatio Williams Classic, Detroit Edison Public School Academy, and Detroit Western International. Edison in orange, 1 year removed from winning both the PSL City and Class C state championship back in 2018, lost in last year's Division III state semifinal to Iron Mountain. We've got the Pioneers ranked 18th overall in our top 25 to start the year. Started this game on a 12-0 run. Point guard Kyle Millender draws enough attention in the key, kicks to the deep corner. The senior Renard Williams deposits the 3-ball in the side pocket. Detroit Western got as far as the D1 District Championship a season ago before falling to Detroit King. The 6'6 forward Kip Clark doing a nice job on both ends of the floor here. Gets the rebound to start the break. Hustling. Colby Cathy rewards him with the ball. Clark the bucket. Cowboys trail 20-12 after the first. Second quarter now, and Depsa with the 26-18 lead. Takeaway, and this is the 6'6 junior forward, David Hughes, taking flight. The power slam helped the Pioneers to a 31-25 lead at the break. But Western came back in the third thanks in large part to Clark. He scored 7 of their 18 points in the quarter. Working it coast to coast here, dribble drive to the bucket and the basket. This tied the game at 38. A minute later, again, Clark carrying it up the court. The Depsa defense doesn't switch. Kip open from downtown, and he drills it. He finished with 13. Cowboys grabbed the lead, but trailed by 2 heading into the fourth. Pioneers took back control of the game in the final quarter. 4 minutes to go, and once again, we're going to see Hughes rock the rim. Edison led 52-45. They wouldn't look back. Under 2 to go. Ball shoots in the post to Calvin Thompson Marshall. The sophomore had 7 points in the second half. Detroit Edison wins their first game of the 2019-2020 campaign by defeating Detroit Western 59-51.
I'm Ryan Slocum. Grand Blanc took on Detroit Douglas without the injured senior guard Kevin David Rice. Fellow senior Mark Miller helped fill the void. He catches the alley-oop to give the Bobcats a 6-point lead. The freshman R.J. Taylor then catches fire at the end of the second. He hit 4 triples in the frame to put GB up 43-39 at the break. And the freshie shows he can do more than just shoot it. Taylor takes it away, then goes in for the lefty reverse scoop. Taylor led the Cats with 21. The Hurricanes getting it done from downtown as well. Xavion McClendon hit 5 threes on the night. Detroit Douglas took a 2-point lead. The Cats then turn the heat back up, and they get a little luck. Connor Williams flips it over his head and in. He gives Grand Blanc a 5-point advantage. Then, with just over 2 minutes to play, Pierre Brooks Jr. steps back for 3 of his game-high 29. He pulls the Hurricanes within 1, but Ty Rogers wouldn't let them pull ahead. He pulls up to put it away. The sophomore sensation scored 20, and Grand Blanc holds off Detroit Douglas 80-77.
Let's go from good to great today, all right?
I'm Chuck Pellerito, and we head over to Ottawa Hills High School for the Battle of I-96 tournament. That means all matchups East versus West. 5 games on the schedule, and we've got highlights from the East Kentwood Falcons taking on the Knights repping Oak Park. Despite a first-round playoff exit to UAD Jesuit last season, the Knights come into this season with one of the top players in the state. A young man who hopes to play both football and basketball at Purdue. Talking about the 6'5 senior Malik Carr. Let's begin with action in the first quarter. Frederick Gatlin will come away with the rock. He knows what to do. Give it to Carr, the jam. Second quarter, and the Knights up 12, but the Falcons started to get their transition offense in order. Jair Harris will find Jamani Jones on the break, lofts it up for Jordan Jackson. It's Air Jordan on the sweet alley-oop. Moments later, Jackson from behind the arc. 9-point night, Kentwood cut the halftime deficit to 6 at 31-24. Second half, and the Falcons with momentum. This time it's going to be Jackson kicking to Jones from behind the long line. It was a 2-point game. But the Knights kept pace. Carr showing off his athletic ability. Coast to coast, the finish, and the foul. We hit a nail-biter to finish. Falcons up 2 until Jones drives to the dish with the finger roll. He led all scorers with 27. East Kentwood wins this I-96 battle, 66-61 the final.
I feel like the difference in this team, we got heart. Everybody want to play, everybody want to win. And we got killers, we got players. Everybody, like, we can look down our bench and put anybody in. So if one person's slipping, I feel like we can just go with the next. So like I feel like if we get teams get early leads on us, we'll be able to just come back easily with the team we have.
I'm Jason Hunt from the West Michigan area. Kobe Buffkin of Grand Rapids Christian getting set to take on Michael Bingham in Grand Rapids Catholic Central. First quarter, Buffkin drives and kicks to Evan May for the bucket and the foul. Eagles had a 2-point first quarter lead. In the second quarter, Grand Rapids Christian goes to a zone and Devin Boyd shoots them out of it. Cougars hit 3 straight triples, 2 of them by the Northern Michigan bound senior. Catholic Central had a 6-point lead, but back comes Buffkin driving for the tough bucket. He had 10 points in the first half. Catholic Central actually led by 4 at the break. Third quarter, Michael Bingham drives, draws, and dishes to Jack Karazinski, the sophomore. Bucket and a foul. He led the Cougars with 18. They had a 2-point lead. But tie game later, Buffkin can't get the shot to go. Got his own rebound, bucket, and the foul. He led everybody with 29 points. Huge early season win for Grand Rapids Christian. 60-54 over Grand Rapids Catholic Central.
How you doing? My name is First Class Adams.
Hey, what's up, Detroit? I'm Staff Sergeant Stevens. If you're within the age of 17 to 34, if you look for a job without any experience, we can teach you everything you need to know. Come be a part of the team.
And where you can locate us at is on GoArmy.com/Michigan.
And our phone number is 586-774-0218 or 517-214-8542.
Go Army.
All right, time now for some hang time hoop talk. I want these guys to focus on a couple of teams we saw in that previous highlight package. First off, Grand Rapids Christian. We had them unranked to start the season. Tuesday night, they take out 8th-ranked Grand Rapids Catholic Central, 60-54. You were there, and when you talk Eagles hoops, you start with the junior, Kobe Buffkin, 29 points in the win.
Prime
time player.
Yeah, KB was on top of his game, especially in the second half. Started off the game with 10 points. Didn't really took a second to get his rhythm going once it started happening. 19 points in the second half, key rebounds. It was like the ball was a magnet to him, and he was able to pass that rock and find players for easy assists. He wound up taking care of the game by himself, and at the end of the day, they wound up winning in that rivalry.
Yeah, you like this team?
He's the total package.
Yeah.
I love Kobe Buffkin.
Yeah.
I mean, as a guard prospect, He is such a bulldog. He's such a competitor. He gets buckets. He's developed into more of a playmaker in terms of dishing it out to his teammates. He's one of the best rebounding guards you'll ever see.
What about the supporting cast?
Yeah, strong supporting cast. Mostly based around football players. Terrell Givens being one, 6'2", 6'3". I mean, he's just one of those guys who's maybe a little bit tougher, brings that football edge, strong, athletic, and he was sacrificing his body. There might have been some issues whether Grand Rapids Christian was going to pull that out just because he did wind up getting hurt. And didn't really play that much in the second half. Did return later on in the game, and it might have been the difference. Even though Kobe was definitely putting up the stats. It was a strong supporting cast.
It's a great win.
Which really helped.
Yeah, great win. Yeah. Statement win.
Yes, I have a feeling they will be ranked soon enough.
Yes, they will. And with Catholic Central, they're ranked. They're still going to be high in B. They might Grand Rapids Christian and Catholic Central, if they do play each other, it'll be in districts.
All right, TJ, you had Detroit Edison ranked 18th in your preseason rankings. They take care of Detroit Western on Saturday at the Horatio Williams Classic. My takeaway: David Hughes can fly.
Hey, David Hughes is a beast in the middle. 6'5", only a sophomore. Strong enough where he can be compared to college sophomores. Looks like a football player. Doesn't play football. But one thing that he does on the hard court is he knows how to put the ball in the basket, and he does it with authority. He was out there grabbing rebounds and pretty much playing as the toughest guy on the court.
So this is a team that's just a couple of years removed from a state championship, no longer in the PSL. How does playing an independent schedule get you ready for the playoffs?
Well, you get to pick and choose your opponents. I think that there are a lot of benefits. Look at Kalamazoo Central when they dropped out, or Benton Harbor, when they dropped out of playing, in the Southwest Division, where now they get to play more competitive games, more meaningful games, and I think that that's one thing where DEPSA can really come in, and they can play a lot of different teams. Obviously, playing Southfield Christian the other night came up on the short end,
right?
But at the same time, when you get to pick and choose your schedule, you really get to prepare yourself for the state tournament, and that's something that I think Bo Neely, the head coach, really can take advantage of.
And with Hughes, he's emerging and filling a void for two big guys that I think will be coming back for Edison: Bryce George and Thaddeus Powell. I don't think they've stepped on the floor yet this season.
Okay.
But when you put the three of them together, that is quite a front court, preparing for a state tournament run. I love Vincent Cooley, who's on the perimeter for them. I love Jalen Flanagan, who was a freshman on that state championship team, and I used to see him in practice and being like, I think this kid is headed for big things as a prep athlete when he eventually breaks into the rotation. So, Coach Neely does a great job, and I really like what I saw from Edison at the showcase. I was there watching with you when they played Western.
Yeah. All right. These guys will be back a little later in the show. What's up, Puckhead? Sean and John here. Don't forget, you can check out Hockey Time starting on January 8th. Every week, we are going to be talking about what's going on in the great state of Michigan at the high school level. So much good hockey being played, and we're going to do our best to cover it from all vantage points in the great state of Michigan. New episodes drop every Wednesday right around 3 o'clock.
You do know you want a contest to spend the whole day with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just want to sit here and eat this delicious pizza?
We could do other things.
That was the best day ever!
Treat yourself to the world's first stuffed flavored crust pizza. And now for just $6.99, try our new stuffed Howie bread filled with fresh mozzarella and cheddar cheese.
Hungry?
Howie!
I admit it. I love working with money, negotiating, and making big decisions. That's why I'm majoring in finance and economics at Lawrence Tech. What's truly amazing about the education here is the small class sizes that give me easy access to my professors who truly care about my future. They even helped me get a great internship. And I was able to fulfill my lifelong dream of playing college golf. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
The greatest honor a high school student athlete can earn, the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Athlete of the Year. You're one of the tops in your sport. Prioritize education and giving back, like Cassius Winston, Megan Bobian, Rakia Jackson, and Aiden Hutchinson did. 6 male, 6 female nominees earn $1,000 in scholarship money, with $5,000 each to be awarded at a red carpet gala in downtown Detroit. Nominations accepted now. Download the application, DACAthleteoftheyear.com. Welcome to another edition of Fast Break presented by BCAM. Now, when Dan Young is not in the house, we hope to have one of the coaches that represents the largest basketball coaches association, not just in the Midwest, but in the nation. You may know Steve Norgrove as the longtime head basketball coach at Rochester Hills Stony Creek. You may not know he is the president-elect of the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
All right, great. The subject of today's segment is sportsmanship. And before you start skipping ahead in the video, because who wants to be lectured, it needs to be talked about. And it needs to be talked about how important it is, because how you handle yourself on the court, how you handle your emotions can dictate how you might behave as an adult, right? You compete, you trash talk, right? That's you take their spirit, right? That's how we're supposed to be, but that's not right.
Well, you know, you can compete and be a really good person at the same time. And not a lot of athletes think that way. I think a lot of high school athletes think that they either have to act tough to be tough. And I think it's up to us as coaches to instill that in our athletes and to be great role models for those types of situations.
Absolutely. As a coach, tell me how you instill that great person mindset in your players.
Well, what we have to do is you have to have situations that you put the students and the players in front of. You have to give them examples. You have to use social media and show them this is good sportsmanship, this is poor sportsmanship, and use those as examples and not just always use the negative examples.
Absolutely. And we all fight it. We get mad, we get loud, but isn't it imperative that our coaches lead by the highest example?
Not everybody can be great all the time, but I believe that our players need us the most when things are the toughest. And those are the times as coaches that I think we really are called to duty and called to task, and we can calm situations down and we can help our athletes navigate through certain things. And we can't control what players are going to do, but we certainly can control our actions and how we react to it.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot, though, but was there a coach that you had growing up, maybe that you'd like to shout out here, that was instrumental in shaping you as a human being?
I would like to shout out to Coach Greg Essler at Warren D. LaSalle. He was my 8th grade coach at St. Anne's in Warren, and he was a tough coach. He's a tough coach now. He was a tough coach then, and I just remember that he was always coaching, and it was not, some people take that as negative, a tough coach, that they're being negative. What he was doing, he was instructing, he was dictating, and it just really sat with me.
How do you handle situations of quote-unquote bad behavior, whether it's trash talking unnecessarily or worse?
Well, a lot of times I'll call players over to stand next to me and we'll have a discussion about it if it's during a game. You know, it's one of those things, you shout praise and you whisper criticism. So it's good to bring proximity, always helps.
All right, so what's the last thing you'd like to say to the young men and women who are watching right now, as well as to the parents and the coaches?
Well, I'd like to say, like right now, I think this is the best time to be a player with social media and the way, and it shows like this, and this is outstanding. That's a great time to be a player, but I don't think there's ever been a tougher time to be a coach, because the way we're scrutinized, the way we're looked at, people can go after coaches now on social media. And so I think as coaches, we need to be aware of those things, and we need to harness social media as well to use that platform as a positive and not always look at it as a negative for our players.
I want to thank Steve Norgrove, the varsity head boys basketball coach at Stony Creek and the president-elect of BCAM, for joining us this week on Fast Break. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Good.
I'm Ryan Slocum. Saginaw High honoring a former Trojan, the late, great Charles Rogers, before its game against crosstown arch rival Arthur Hill. This senior, Surreal Smith, was in control of this one from the jump. He lays it in the first. Then, just seconds later, the 6-footer delivers the facial. The Trojans take a 5-point lead. And he wasn't alone. The SVSU-bound Freddie McIntosh hits it from downtown. but the Lumberjacks get back in it. The freshman Tim Jordan Jr. with a Booker T spin-a-rooney through the paint for the finish. Couple of trips later, Elvis McCool Jr. getting all shook up from the logo. Nothing but the bottom to give Arthur Hill a 1-point lead in the second. But Surreal showed he's the real deal from there. First, hitting the step-back three. Smith then gets ahead of the pack and puts on his jammies again. Surreal scored 14 in the second, 20 in the half to give the Trojans a 52-34 lead at the break. The Jacks make some noise out of the locker room. Shedrick Morrell to Isaiah Williams for the reverse alley-oop from mid-court. But they couldn't slow the Trojans down. James Babers with the jam. Lavelle Brodniks then goes behind the back to the rack for the bucket. And speaking of bucket, Smith was one. Surreal finished with 33 points as Saginaw High beats Arthur Hill for the 12th straight time, 88-76.
LP back with you, and we go back to the Horatio Williams Classic at North Farmington, where number 16 Waterford Mott would not have the services of the injured superstar Isaiah Jackson, which makes it really tough when you have to go up against 4th-ranked Ann Arbor Huron. Mott won the LVC a season ago, couldn't get past Orchard Lake St. Mary's in the districts, packed house, and right off the bat, the fast break was working. Philip Leonard pulled down the rebound. DeQuavion Washington quickly outletted to a streaking Azion Price, who finishes nicely at the rim. River Rats coming out of a 14-7 campaign in which they finished second in the SEC Red last winter, fell to Saline in district play. The prognostication of a much better 2019-2020 campaign based on size, talent, and work ethic. They bring it. Looks like Toussaint Fancher is boxed in. Think again. Ball back up top. The junior Devin Womack with a dribble drive. The left-handed finish. He led all scorers with 16 points. Huron led 17-4 at the end of the first. Second quarter, Corsairs trying to climb back in it. 4 and change left to go in the half. It's easy to spot Trey L. Solomon. Look for the pink kicks. Takes it into the lane, gets the roll. Mott down 20-8, however. But the Rats kept very active in the offensive end. This is the junior Mike Davis getting creative. It was 30-13 in favor of Ann Arbor Huron at the break. So the Corsairs were going to have to pick it up in order to slice into the River Rat advantage. Washington spots a wide-open Philip Leonard. He can't finish, but Price can. However, Mott down 27, and they wouldn't get any closer. Huron too much. Womack spots Mike Robinson Jr. in transition. He'll throw down the two-handed jackhammer. Mr. Robinson had 15 points in the contest, another throwdown, and Huron led this one tape to tape. River Rats beat Waterford Mott 67-38 the final.
Huge matchup between Ferndale and Beecher. The Eagles come out hot thanks to the big man, Colin Golston. He couldn't be stopped in the paint. Golston scored the first 6 points of the game and finished with 20. Ferndale up 8 in the first. The Bucks get a little momentum at the end of the frame. Keon Minifield beats the buzzer for 3. That makes it a 5-point game. Then in the second, Jalen Terry pokes it away, and nothing can stop him. He's all the way up. That cut the lead to 3. Ferndale opens it right back up in the third. Jalen Daughtry with the steal and slam, putting the Eagles back up by 13. But that's when Terry takes over. The senior finishes with the Euro step and 1. JT then gets defensive with the block at the rim. The Bucks head the other way. Ernest Sanders throws it down. The top-ranked point guard in the state then goes the length of the court for another 2 and 1. Terry scored 20. Beecher within 5 with $1:40 to go. But that's as close as they would get. Braden Keener finds Daughtry at the rim, and Ferndale holds off the Bucks 66-55.
I'm Chuck Pellerito, and we finish up over at the University of Detroit Mercy, where the Callahan Challenge took place. CHSL versus MAC teams. The 1-0 Eaglets of St. Mary's took on the 1-1 Roseville Panthers. Kareem Rozier dishes across court to Jason Drake for the 3 off iron, but junior Julian Roper there to slam home the board for the first points of the game. Staying in the first, Panthers trailing by 4. Delano Sanders can't find the room, gives it to Martell Turner, spins in the fadeaway, takes the contact, but no call. Lauren Bowman directing traffic for St. Mary's. Gives to Jack Creighton for a corner 3 try. Eaglets led by 7 after 1. Roper gives to Creighton, gets it back and works deep in the paint, gets to the rack and 1. Time winding down in the first half. Jason Hunter swaps with Aaron Hunter, can't find anything, so dishes back to Jason. He lets loose a long 3. Panthers went into the half trailing 14. Bowman unable to drive, so he passes to Roper, gets it back and launches from distance. He led the way with 20 points. Eaglets pulling away. Roper drives and kicks it out. Rozier from three-point land. He had 11 on the night, and St. Mary's led 42-23 after 3. Panthers not going to go away. Jason Hunter can't find any room. Gets it to Delano Sanders. He'll let loose from well behind the line. But it wouldn't be enough as St. Mary's rolls 57-32 over the Roseville Panthers to remain unbeaten and complete the sweep for the CHSL on the tournament.
Hey guys, the MHSAA are proud partners with State Champs, and they offer student athletes the opportunity to help shape high school sports. The MHSAA Student Advisory Council helps serve school sports as a voice of the student athlete. Applications for students from the class of 2022 to serve for 2 years on the Student Advisory Council will be accepted beginning in April. For more information about the MHSAA Student Advisory Council, visit the MHSAA website.
You ready, Darius?
Let's do it. Anybody want an autograph?
Autograph? We're here for the stuffed crust pizza.
Stuffed crust pizza? Hey, who do you think you are? End of the line, pal.
Treat yourself to the world's first stuffed flavored crust pizza. And now, for just $6.99, try our new stuffed Howie bread.
Hungry? Howie! All right, Scott and TJ back with us. Let's talk about 2 more squads out of the highlights we just saw. First off, Surreal Smith. Explosive for third-ranked Saginaw. Had a big game. Talk about the high.
Lives up to the name. Surreal Smith is the real deal.
He was.
Holyfield. Just a lightning in a bottle. Explosive type of guy that finishes at the rim. Everything you want from a lead guard, and does a great job of repping the Sag Nasty.
Yeah, he can put up points in a heartbeat. One thing that I really like about Saginaw is you have 3 seniors. You talk about James Babers, you talk about Freddie McIntosh, who's going to Saginaw Valley State, and you talk about Surreal Smith. The backcourt is as seasoned as any team in the state. And then you add in guys that are scholarship players like Surreal Smith and Freddie McIntosh. And that's a challenge for a lot of teams.
That's why you have them ranked 3rd.
And that's why I have them ranked 3rd, and they can shoot the ball. Then I think that's key, because we will find some teams that they really can't shoot the ball and kind of one-dimensional. I think one thing that Saginaw can do is they can bring pressure. They can play you in the half court. They control the tempo because their guards have that much experience.
And I love Freddie McIntosh. He's the point guard, the pace setter. Surreal handles the ball sometimes, right. But he's more of a combo. Yes. But Freddie McIntosh he's been starting since his freshman year, or at least getting a lot of time on the floor since his freshman year. And he's got a lot of composure, and he's a true floor general.
All right, let's focus now on number 4, Ann Arbor Huron. Now, Ann Arbor Huron beat a Isaiah Jackson-less Waterford Mott.
Didn't have much trouble doing it either.
But no, he didn't. And you like this team a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about Skyline as well. The Ann Arbor area, pretty loaded this year. But talk about the River Rats.
Hey, the River Rats, Wally Samaha with a return back to Ann Arbor Huron after spending a couple of years under John Beeline. This is now his 2nd year. But hey, they just play with so much chemistry. I remember sending out a report to college coaches after their freshman year, and I said, hey, you might want to make a conscious decision to stop in their gym, by the time their junior year is over, because they have 5 or 6 scholarship players. And Devin Womack, you talk about the Den Howder twins, Bennett and Jackson. Bennett being hurt right now. Talk about Lewis and Julian Lewis is killing. Kingsley is an emerging prospect. Let's say he winds up growing to those size 17 shoes, and you're talking about 6'8", 6'9". He's already a monster rebounder. Probably one of the best in the junior class right now. And I just think that they really know what to do to go out and winning. I think that Mike Robinson, like we talked about last week, is the key to how far they go. Will they want to bowing out as they did last year in districts, or can they go all the way to the Breslin? And wouldn't it be great to see Mike Robinson Jr. return as a player and have his dad in attendance?
I mean, Julian Lewis is, a primetime playmaker in the backcourt. A guy that has flown under the radar when you're talking about the best backcourt prospects in the state of Michigan, and you can't overlook him.
Great rebounder, too.
He's the straw that stirs the drink. And I just want to say, that was my first look at Huron, and I don't know if I wasn't giving them enough love or enough interest in the preseason.
Yeah.
But I was very impressed. Waleed, every time you see him on the bench, his teams they execute so well. They play at, talk about going 150%. They go 250%.
Yeah.
They are always
all in,
crashing the glass, pressing full court, bringing so much energy, so much passion. And then when you add the kind of talent they have on the floor, this is a team that, before I saw them, I wouldn't have said that I thought Huron was a team that could make a run. After watching them on Saturday, that's a team that I would not be shocked if they're playing at the Breslin.
Boom. We'll wrap this up right after the clip of the week.
It's time now for the MHSAA Basketball Clip of the Week. And we head back to the Battle of I-96 and East Kentwood's Jair Harris going to find Jamani Jones up court. He sets it up, and Jordan Jackson finishes the alley-oop. That's your MHSAA Basketball Clip of the Week.
All right, that's our show, and I want to invite you to listen to the companion podcast to this show. We call it Hangtime Overtime. We're going to talk, among other things, TJ and Scott's take of how certain players have performed out of the gate. Plus, we have these guys' opinion on the status of one Isaiah Jackson. Strong opinions. You have to check it out. Just look it up on Linktree. So Hangtime Overtime on Linktree. That's the easiest way to pick your platform and enjoy. Before we go, what do we have to look forward to as far as games this weekend?
Wow, let's start with Orchard Lake St. Mary's in Clarkston. At O-Lake.
They should be playing this game. They should be playing this game at the arena. I don't know why they decided to host this game at Orchard Lake.
I'll tell you why.
Too small of a venue.
George Porritt.
Too small of a venue. There are going to be a lot of people that are cheated out of the opportunity to see this game. Two of the best teams in the state. This is the best matchup of these two programs. They meet every year in the first couple weeks of the season. They probably haven't had an anticipated clash like this in over a decade. You're going to have upwards of maybe 10 Division I basketball players on the floor, at least a half dozen.
Okay, what day is that? Friday?
Friday at Orchard Lake.
And what time?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Okay, so there you go. What else real quickly this week?
Well, we've got Hudsonville at Unity Christian, and then also a big one, Flint Carmen Ainsworth at Saginaw. We've got top 25 teams there.
All right, check it out. That's our show. We're off until January 9th. Enjoy the holidays. We will see some of you, of course, at the holiday tourneys. State Champs Hangtime is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also brought to you in part by Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The U.S. Army, what's your warrior? The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, because better coaching always matters. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation, nominations being accepted now for Male and Female Athlete of the Year at DACAthleteoftheyear.com.